right, we'll bring the meeting to order. Good morning, everyone. Let's start by the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, thank you. Just for update on the agenda. The number 17, we will not be addressing as that was already taken care of yesterday. So, Director Kennedy.
Mr. President, members of the Commission, and Director Nesbitt, good morning. Next item on the agenda is the Jackson Employee Housing Project. We've been working on this for a long time. Since the last Commission meeting, we've been spending a lot of time answering the Commission's questions. I appreciate you dealing with the emails I've been sending, and Plan One Architects and Jorgensen from out of Jackson has been working like crazy to try to answer your questions and Director Nesbitt's and my questions that we've had. And we believe we've done that. I provided a PowerPoint to you a week ago or so. I'd like Dan Odaz from Plan One and Brian Barney will also be ready to answer any questions. Brian's the one that put together all the information on a lot of the infrastructure, including the water and septic and all those issues that we need to deal with for this project. So I'm going to have Dan go through the PowerPoint that you've seen, and I think you'll find when we are done with this PowerPoint that we have in fact answered all your questions. We feel really comfortable with the cost estimate for construction for both phase 1 and phase 2. We think that number's good, and we hope the Commission's comfortable with the project overall after we finish the presentation. I'll come back up and also help try to answer any questions you may have and to make a recommendation from the department. So Dan, if you are ready to go.
I'm here, Mr. President and Commissioners. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm relieved. Then the technology is working. So thank you for letting me join you this morning. I will take you through this PowerPoint, and feel free to interrupt me at any time if you have any questions. This is an aerial photograph of the South Park HMA south of Jackson. You can see in black is the outline of the total park, and the area up in yellow on the northeast is the suggested location of the employee housing development. We've been able to keep the total disturbance of that area to about 10 acres. And we've also placed it right up along the highway where the access would be the easiest for the employees, but we also felt that was the least desirable parcel of land for the wildlife. So I think it works well for both parties, placing it in that location. This is a closer in aerial photograph, and we were careful to be aware of and address the surrounding context and the utilities. In particular, in red is a high pressure gas line that runs right through the site, and that actually goes through our proposed housing development. But we were able to arrange the roads and the houses to respect the 30-foot easement that requires going through. So no work at all required to the gas line. You know, with John's help and the folks up in Jackson, we came up with this phasing scenario. You know, phase 1 would be 6 single-family homes, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and a garage, and a 1 seasonal staff housing unit that fits, you know, 6 people basically in a small dormitory style house in phase 1. And all of these houses meet the department's housing standards, which call for 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a 1,600 to 2,000 square foot footprint. And ours are pretty efficient. They're in the 1,700 square foot range. So we tried to stay on the kind of on the modest, more economical side. Phase two, originally it was up to 9 employee housing units, but now it's down to 6. 6 of those same units, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. There is a conceptual site plan, and in orange, you can see the suggested phase 1 of the houses. And then up on the north side, northeast side, is that seasonal housing unit. And per the direction from the department, from the commissioners, I should say, last time, we have included in the estimate all of the site work and the utility infrastructure that would serve the phase 2 housing. That's going to be included in phase 1, so that we get all of that work done at one time. We only have 1 contractor mobilization, 1 utility installation. And then later, when the department wishes, you can come in and basically plug these additional houses in on phase 2 fairly easily. A lot of what Mr. Barney has been helping me with Jorgensen Engineers is the utility cost and the utility design. And so basically what we have right here at the end of this cul-de-sac is we're going to be required to have 2 wells, 2 for both capacity and redundancy. And they can both be near each other, and they'll serve all of the units of phase 1 and phase 2 in that location. And then there's going to be 2 common leach fields. One basically up here, leach field A, that serves the houses of phase 1, and then another one down here for the houses of phase 2. So those will be common leach fields. Every house will not have its own leach field. It'll have a connection to these common leach fields. This shows the eventual build out when the phase 2 houses have been added as well. So one thing I was directed to do was to master plan the site for the future phase 2 residences, which we've done. And also, keep an eye on the utility infrastructure and future connections, have those included now with the phase 1 costs. And we have done that as well with the cost estimating. So here are the cost estimates, and we worked it up 2 different ways. And as you know, building in Jackson is not inexpensive. And I'm sure that's the reason you're even contemplating this project, is to help your employees out with this housing. But the first inclination was just to look at conventional stick framing. Carpenters out on site, building a wood framed house. I got these costs from local contractors in the area. It includes the site work, design fees, everything is all included. So these are total project cost, not just construction cost. Phase 1 is obviously bigger because it does include all of the roadways and the utilities. And then the phase 2 cost is there, and that would be the total if you're going with the conventional stick frame construction. One item John has been helping me with is, with the cooperation between the department and the county, you're able to save some pretty good dollars by not having to go through the county permitting, and particularly the permitting process. What's been suggested is we still give them a set of plans of the bid documents and the design drawings as they get prepared as kind of a cursory review. But it's the belief that we do not have to go through the permitting process with the county, and that's a pretty significant savings of $108,000, which is shown in these estimates. So we were looking for other options for construction rather than the conventional stick frame. And I've been in contact with, I think, 3 different modular housing contractors to see if we could save any money there. And what they do is they basically build the walls in a factory in another location. So the walls are framed up, they have all the electrical included, the insulation is included, They flat stack them on a semi truck, bring them out to the site once the foundation is ready to go, and they become erected on the site in a fairly quick manner. So we were able to save some good dollars, really good dollars, by going with that method. This is for the same scope of work, just utilizing the modular construction. And you can see the savings there in blue. And then we're still realizing the savings below that for the interagency cooperation. Another question that came up was the operational costs of the well and the septic systems. And Brian speaks to this better than I do, but I'll give it a first pass. There is you are required to have an operator, a certified operator for the well, because it's a commercial well system for the multiple residences, and also for the septic system as well. But it doesn't seem to be that daunting of a task. You take some classes, you take a test, you pay a fee, and one of your employees out on this housing complex could become your certified well operator and your septic operator. If you wished, you could contract with somebody locally to do that as well. And we have kind of a range of costs there. It could be as low as $300 a month, possibly more. You know, Jorgensen Engineering actually performs that service for other clients. So I think of that as you kind of have a fallback position. You know, obviously it'd be most economical to have one of your people that could do that. But if you ever had a change in employees, if you ever lost your certified operator for some reason, you could have someone local there you could contract with on kind of a fallback position for a couple of months until you were able to get somebody else up to speed and get them certified for the system. And so we were looking at suggesting next steps. You know, we talked about drilling a well, one well, last time, just to make sure the water is there. And it's a fairly reasonable cost. There's expected to be water there. There's a good probability we're going to get good water, but just for the matter of due diligence and being sure before any more money is expensed by the department, we were recommending we go ahead and have you drill a test well. The contingency was thought to be a little too high last time. I've actually knocked it down a bit. The cost, the raw cost is expected to be $35,000 for one well. And that includes all the permitting and the fees and the bid documents. That's everything all in. But we've given a range of between 38 and 42,000 just to add a little contingency to that amount. You never know if you might hit some unusual geology or if something else might happen. So just to be conservative, we're showing the cost for one well at $38,000 to $42,000. And then when you're ready, we were going to suggest to have those initial conversations with the county on how we do this informal courtesy review process with them. And just kind of bring them a little more into the loop as well. So that's the end of the presentation I have for you this morning, and either myself or Brian Barney would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission? Mr. President, what did we say, 1,700 feet per unit? Is that what it was? How big are the houses?
That's correct. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. There's 1,700 square feet, and that does not include the 2-car garage.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. President and Dan, just to clarify, so the costs associated with both wells are reflected in the total amount that's listed in the project cost estimate, right?
Yes, that's correct. All the utility and roadway costs and the wells, the septic system, all of that is captured in totality in these cost estimates.
Okay. And we know we need 2 wells on site, and I guess for Brian, perhaps for you, Dan, would it be more efficient to do both wells at the same time, test wells, and then ultimately use those wells if the water's good?
In my opinion, you know, I guess when I first presented this last month, I didn't realize we needed 2 wells. I've learned that since that time. And so if you got both wells drilled, you'd only have 1 mobilization, 1 permitting process, and then you would have both wells in place, and you'd be totally confident that you had enough water for the entire complex. So if you wanted to move ahead in a little more proactive fashion, I would go for the 2 wells.
Director Nesbitt?
So thank you, Mr. President. So just to confirm, those test wells then would be able to be used as the permanent wells as long as the test is good, correct?
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Mr. President. So we plan to drill 2. We drill the first one and it's no good. Can we just opt out of the second one? Or if we commit with a driller, would we have to do both? Even if the first one's bad?
Mr. President, Dan, did you hear that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would think that we could set up the bid documents where if something's wrong with the first well, we kind of stop and regroup at that point.
Any other questions?
Mr. President, concerning operational costs of the well and the septic systems, I think based on experience with city councils and different things, a water and a sewer license is a pretty simple thing, but it's a time-consuming thing. And the problem with getting that license is the person that gets that license, they test to a level that allows them to maintain any water sewer system in the state of Wyoming. So it's not a real easy test. It does take quite a bit of time to get through it. And I think I would speak against training our personnel, not that they couldn't do it, but if you spend all that time and expense to get them trained and then they change jobs, then you've got to start all over again. It's kind of a revolving door with that kind of thing. So I would think that somehow maybe a system operator would be the more efficient way to go in the long term to take care of that water and sewer system, as a suggestion.
I visited, Eric, do you have any comment on maybe how the services division could maybe help us with that?
Mr. President, I think the services division probably, based on my knowledge from Mr. Rivera's, our discussion is basically to try it, get somebody trained. And I'm not real knowledgeable on the camp, but we have a similar system. I think the requirements are a little different. But once it's set up, it's basically monthly reporting. It's very minimal time amount. As far as getting certified, I don't know that whole process, but we have a similar employee that's doing something similar at the camp. So I think that we could probably try it and see if it works. If it doesn't, then we can get it on.
Yeah, we can investigate it, I would assume. Thank you. Nice question, Rick. Any other questions? I would entertain a motion unless somebody had another comment.
Mr. President,
Frank?
this is going to shock you, but I'm prepared to make a motion here today. So we've studied this thing forever. I was the biggest proponent against doing this. I wanted to move everybody to Pinedale, someplace else, but I've been convinced over the 2 or 3 years, and even more, John's been working on this for 10 years probably, that we do need this housing project in Jackson. I want to commend our, what I'll call local partners, primarily I think the Teton County Commission has indicated they're willing to waive all the, kind of extraordinary fees you have to pay to build in Teton County. So I want to commend them for that significant effort to keep us in Jackson. And I think that's a great offer. And And I thank them for that, a generous offer to help us stay in Teton County. And I wouldn't be making this motion today without that kind of cooperation. So I commend them, but I think we should obligate $9,743,000 from our what we kind of call the discretionary spending account towards this project. The way it works, Commissioner Roberts, is, there's a lot of work left to be done. They'll go out for bid. They'll, ultimately any expenditure other of that $9,743,000 will have to come back in front of the commission and be voted on finally again by the commission. With the exception, I'm going to carve out the $84,000 for drilling the 2 test wells. And I absolutely agree with Commissioner Bird's comment that if, in drilling the first well, we run into problems, we are going to have to back out and find a different place to drill a well where maybe we have a better aquifer or go deeper or something, But it's a pain in the behind to permit water wells in the state of Wyoming. That's a long process that involves drilling the well, reporting production numbers to the state engineer's office, ultimately getting a permit, and then you have to put that water to beneficial use. So it makes a lot of sense to me to drill 2 wells at once and only engage in, one operational cost by the well driller and 1 permitting process. So obligate $9,743,000 for the Jackson housing project, direct the department that they have authority right away to spend the $84,000 to drill the 2 test wells. And if we don't do this now, I mean, inflation in regular places goes up 4, 5, 6% a year on construction, and it's probably more in Jackson, Wyoming. So every day we delay this, we just spend more money, and it's a needed expenditure. It's a lot of money, but we need to do it. It's fair to our employees. It's good for the department. So I would hope you would support my motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
It is moved by Commissioner Crank, seconded by Commissioner Rael. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, members of the commission, thank you very much, and thanks for all the support and help on this. It's taken a long time to get us to this point, but we still got a lot of work to do. So I'll keep you posted, and Commissioner Roberts, I'll get with you very soon and start to go through the details of it. Thank you.
Thank you, and also thank the community of Teton County for helping us out with this in Jackson Hole. Appreciate it. Before we go to the next agenda item, I need to read this again. If you did not send an advance comment sheet prior to the start of this meeting, but would still like to comment on an agenda item, please do one of the following. If you are on Zoom via your computer, you can send a chat to the host with your name, phone number, and the agenda item you wish to comment on. If you are listening on the phone, you can send an email to wgfvideo@wyo.gov, making sure to include your name, phone number you are calling from, and the agenda item you wish to comment on. Okay, moving on. Number 20, Rebecca.
Mr. President, members of the commission, and Director Nesbitt, after our retreat last year, you recall we had a very robust discussion about the status of the department's website, and you directed us to move forward and do whatever we can to improve the website and get it to where it was more user-friendly and responsive to our customers' expectations. Right after the retreat, Director Nesbitt had me put together a team. I did that, and he has asked me to give this update to you today. We do have members of the team online and even here in the room today. So if you have any questions, I can maybe refer to them. So like I said, soon after the retreat that we had the internal team, and they started meeting in September. The initial charge of that team was to develop the actual RFP that'll go out to get the right kind of company to do this for us that can meet all of our licensing needs. It's a complicated website, as you all know. You directed us, and we had a lot of discussion about the importance of obtaining feedback from both internally and externally, and more importantly, externally. So we have done that. To date, through our survey efforts, we've received over 1,000 responses to the external survey, and there's more coming in now. I think today or tomorrow is the last day for that survey. We'll continue to survey even beyond that, but right now we surveyed, and includes non-resident hunters and anglers, residents, and like I said, over 1,000 responses. As we expected, we received a lot of feedback that was specific to our licensing system. We've received that feedback in the last couple of years, so it was not a great surprise. And in fact, we had started working on that before the retreat. We didn't want to wait to begin work on that license system process, so our IT branch worked closely with our fiscal division and this team to upgrade the system so that hunters and anglers can navigate the website and license system more efficiently and more effectively. And in fact, that upgrade will be implemented next week. So you will see results from this redesign work that we have done on the website starting next week, which we're pretty excited about. We've also finished the RFP. It's being reviewed right now downtown, so that should be done here very quickly. And we hope to have that out and have the right company on board to finish this project by the retreat this June. So things are moving. We're making some progress. The website team and our communications branch, well, multiple work units throughout the agency have done a really, really good job. And so you will start to see benefits of your direction in this work on the website starting next week. And we should have a lot more to show you, or you'll see by the retreat in June.
Thank you. Any comments on that?
Mr.
Looking forward to seeing it myself. So.
Mr. President. So, John, I'm going to show how old I am. I mean, our website right now is like an Edsel. It was a horrible car. It never was successful, and I hope that our vision is that we're not going to put new tires on an Edsel. I mean, I think this website, I hear you that we're helping the licensing problems we have, but I hope that where the department's going is a completely redesigned, new, fresh website that works for our customers. So are we putting new tires on an Edsel, or are we going to totally revamp this and make it work for our customers?
Mr. President, Commissioner Frank, we're going to revamp it. It's going to meet our customers' expectations. That's the direction that the director's given us, and that's what we're going to try very hard to do. I would say that, having said that, the survey results were pretty interesting. On a scale of 1 to 10 from our feedback we got, they actually rated the website at 6.5 as far as being user friendly. So it's, there's mixed opinions out there. I guess it just depends how savvy you are on websites and things, but it shows a couple of things. One, folks are still using it, and not everybody's frustrated with it, but it also shows we have to move for working out a new redesign, and we're going to do that.
Thank you. Any more comments? Thank you.
Mr.
Excuse
President,
me, Commissioner Robert.
and I hope that we're looking at something that's really user friendly for the older folks. That seems to be one of the main contentions, and I'm sure that they'll call on the phone more than when they get confused with it. But I've sure heard a lot about, the older folks have a really hard time with it, which is, with electronics and everything. But I hope that it has something something bold in it that says, for if you've got a problem or you don't understand something, that get a hold of us ASAP or whatever, to help the older people with this, because it really scares them. It really scares them to log on to a computer and to do it. I think we take advantage of, but that's just my thought. We agree.
Good point. All right. Any other?
The vision for this is a Ram 3500 turbo diesel with an automatic transmission, so that everybody can drive it.
I like Toyotas.
All right, thank you. We'll keep you posted.
Thank you very much.
With no recall.
Okay, on to the Wildlife Fund update by Chris McBarnes.
President
There
Doobie, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Morning.
Good morning, sir. If you just give me a second here, I'll share my screen and open my PowerPoint. Okay, can everyone see that okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you, President Doobie, Director Nesvik, members of the commission. It's an honor to be here with you today to talk about updates as it pertains to the Wildlife Fund. I would be remiss if I didn't start out by deeply, deeply thanking Commissioner Rael and Commissioner Crank for all their tireless dedication to not only the wildlife of Wyoming, but the Wildlife Fund. This fund would not be possible without each of these men. And we thank them dearly. And on a side note, Commissioner Rael, it's good to know someone that loses just as many Titleist Pro V1s on a golf course as I do. And Commissioner Crank, it's always good to be with a fellow cat lover. So I'll say that on the side. Commissioner Roberts, thank you so much for joining the commission. Look very forward to working with you. And also I want to thank Commissioner Mike Schmid, former, for everything that he did for the Wildlife Fund. We would not be here today if it wasn't for his efforts. You'll see the 1% up here because our motto is to try to get 1% better every day. Coming into the office, what can we do to be more efficient, more effective by reaching out to donors, connecting with our constituents, and completing the mission that you folks gave us. So a brief preview here today. I'm going to talk to you about the Absaroka Fence Initiative, which the Wildlife Fund has been very engaged in, give you a fundraising and grants update, and then roll out a very exciting program that we are coining Wildlife Tourism 1% for Tomorrow. So we'll start with the Absaroka. This initiative aims to ensure fences are functional for livestock management and wildlife movement across the landscape. This is a cohort of NGOs in the Cody region and beyond that are coming together to modify fences in order to make them wildlife friendly, both on public lands and working with private landowners. I want to thank Tony Mong with the department. He is our chairman and our fearless leader in this effort, and Tony has just done an absolutely incredible job. We did complete our first project this past December in 2020, and we converted 1 mile of fencing outside of Cody and worked cooperatively with a private landowner there. This is the Lichtendahl Ranch. We took a dangerous 5 barbed wire 1 mile stretch of fence and we converted it to a 4 barbed wire fence with an 18-inch high smooth barbed wire on the bottom and a smooth wire on the top. So it's very important to the Wildlife Fund that we're not just out raising money and giving grants, but we're actually rolling up our sleeves, getting our elbows dirty, and working with our fellow colleagues to make the landscape friendlier for our wildlife. So we're very pleased to be a part of this effort, and it will continue into the future. A fundraising update for you folks in 2020, and I hope you got to see it. I sent you a link to an annual report that I typed. So Commissioner Roberts, if you want to go to the wildlifefund.org and go to our blog, you can click the blog that says 2020 annual report and that's a good place to get a rundown of what the Wildlife Fund was able to accomplish this past year. But we raised just over $268,000. We have several fundraising initiatives ongoing. Our wildlife art project, which was painted by the wonderful Jess Doobie here in Buffalo. We've sold that artwork in 7 different states. We still have those prints of staring contest for sale. So if anyone out there would like to get on our website and check that out on our online store, we'd be very appreciative of that. The first 100 people to buy a piece of art gets entered for a 3-night, 4-day Black Hills turkey hunt. So that's just a little carrot. If you do buy a piece of artwork, you will be put into that drawing. We have worked hard with Rebecca Fitzgerald, Deputy Director Kennedy, and the comms department to offer advertising space in the 2021 deer, antelope, and elk hunting regulations. So for the first time ever, we'll be selling ad space on behalf of the department. And it's great for the department because you folks have roughly $118,000 wrapped up in the cost of printing every year. And these funds raised will not only offset or almost offset your costs in printing, but it will also help the Wildlife Fund put more money back on the ground to help benefit our wildlife. So if any businesses out there are interested in advertising in these 2021 hunting regs, please reach out to me and I'd be happy to talk to you about that opportunity. And then lastly, we do have an ongoing commissioner license raffle through Rally Up. That link is on our Instagram page, our Facebook page, across the web. Encourage you to check that out. That is a tag that Commissioner Byrd graciously gave us. And ma'am, we thank you so much for that. And the other commissioners who have designated tags to us as well. We will be the best stewards of those tags that we can in the money raised. A grants update in 2020, we issued $217,894 in grants. And I'm pleased to announce today that we're kicking off 2021 with our feet not garnering much moss. We're proud to announce a $1,250 grant to an AIS boot cleaning station project ongoing in the Laramie region. Aquatic invasive species is a key initiative and plank for the Wildlife Fund, so we're happy to announce this grant. And I'm also happy to announce, thanks to Williams Energy, we will be giving $2,500 to Wyoming Game and Fish's Camp Wild for the families and the kids to have some t-shirts and some swag as deemed necessary by the department. So thank you to Ashley Leonard for working with me on this. And we're excited to support these two key initiatives within Game and Fish. And then the last part of my presentation, President Doobie, is the Wildlife Tourism 1% for Tomorrow. When I came into this position, one of our biggest tasks that was given to me was to broaden and diversify the revenue stream coming into Game and Fish. We have millions and millions of dollars of projects out there. You folks are so committed. NGOs are so committed. There's still more money that needs to be raised to accomplish what we need to accomplish. And so at this time, I do have a co-presenter today, one of the best guys I have met since coming to Wyoming. He is solid as an oak tree, and that is Taylor Phillips, the owner of Jackson Hole Eco Tour Adventures. So at this time, Taylor, take it away.
Hey, sounds great. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes, awesome. President Doobie, Director Nesvik, and commissioners, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you all. And I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to be here today, sharing with you a passion that I've had since 2002 when I entered the wildlife tourism industry. In 2008, I created Eco Tour Adventures to connect our short-term visitors to the landscape, wildlife, and our public lands through wildlife viewing and natural history interpretation. We teach science and facts. Annually, we interact with over 6,000 guests from around the world. In Grand Teton National Park alone, there are a total of 55 permitted guide services, grossing a combined total of $5.5 million in sales. This doesn't include the meals, hotel stays, and other purchases they make while in the region. And you ask how much of their spending makes it to the wildlife managers that are looking out for the resources that they come here to enjoy. Zero. And that's, in my words, that's a problem. Since 2008, my business, Eco Tour Adventures, we've been giving 2% of our sales to groups that are helping steward, protecting the resources that we are enjoying. And to date, we've given over $100,000. Wyoming Game and Fish, you guys here on this call are integral for healthy wildlife populations and landscapes. I feel that the public and businesses that are benefiting from these incredible resources, like it's time to to give back. And then this is where this new initiative that I've created, along with Chris here, comes into play. We've recently partnered with the Wildlife Fund, and Chris has been awesome in providing just a lot of great direction and guidance. We've created Wildlife Tourism 1% for Tomorrow. And EcoTour Adventures, my business, we've been donating to this, to the Wildlife Fund through Wildlife Tourism 1% for Tomorrow for the past few months. And this is an opportunity for other businesses statewide to get involved. Currently, we're in the logo and website design phase of Wildlife Tourism 1% for Tomorrow. And I have a small local steering committee helping to kind of launch this brand so it can be the best that it can be. And once we have all our T's crossed, I's dotted, we're going to be going statewide, asking other interested businesses to join, contributing 1% of their sales to the Wildlife Fund for on the ground habitat improvement projects. It's no brainer for my industry in Jackson here and in Cody to support game and fish and the associated habitat improvement projects championed by Chris of the Wildlife Fund. It's imperative that for this initiative to take off, developing relationships across the state, that we are good partners with Wyoming Game and Fish. And I ask that we call each other that. I need you guys' help and support to make this work. And I'm assured that it will be successful. I'm all in. Let's do this. Chris has been great to work with, and I'm excited to work with the commission down the road. And yeah, President Dube, Director Nesvik, and commissioners, I would love to take any questions that you might have regarding this new initiative.
Well, thanks, Taylor. It sounds like a great idea, and I appreciate your enthusiasm. It's coming through loud and clear, so we sure appreciate it. Any comments?
Mr.
Commissioner Crank?
President, Taylor, congratulations. For years, really smart people have studied how to tap into what some people call the non-consumptive user crowd. So I just commend you and Chris for your efforts and wish you great success. I mean, what a great idea and a way to do it. And if those folks who don't choose to actually hunt can help us support the wildlife, you conquered a huge mountain. So thank you.
Wonderful idea. Great plan. Any other questions? Thanks, Taylor.
Yeah, thank you, commissioners, for this opportunity. And for years, I've been trying different efforts to make this happen. Involving other guide services, other businesses to collaborate together on something, and it's all failed. So I'm like, okay, I just need to take the reins and do this and try to get other businesses on board after it's created. And hey, if it works, which I think it will, hey, we've got a winner. If it doesn't, well, at least I tried, right?
Well, if you and Chris are involved with it, I'm sure it'll work out great.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Taylor, thank you. And thank you for leading by example, sir. I look up to you and I look forward to taking on this mountain with you. So in review today, commissioners, we've talked about the Absaroka Fence Initiative and the Wildlife Fund's engagement with this program. I've given you a fundraising and grants update and rolled out the exciting new program we call Wildlife Tourism 1% for Tomorrow. I so appreciate your time, President Doobie, and I'm happy to take any questions the commission might have.
Any questions, comments for Chris? Well, I just think you're doing a wonderful job, Chris. Once again, we couldn't have asked for a better person to run this outfit than yourself. So keep up the great work.
Thank you, President Doobie. I wish you all a wonderful day.
Thank you. Before we leave the Wildlife Fund, we have to do some housekeeping. According to the bylaws, one of commission representative has to be on the Wildlife Fund. With Commissioner Schmid going out, we will need to adopt or motion for another commissioner to be on there.
So, Mr. President, I'm ready to make a motion. I would move that the commission appoint yourself, Pete Doobie, to fill that position on the Wildlife Board.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Commissioner Brokaw, second by Commissioner Byrd, to nominate myself for the Wildlife Fund. Any more discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for helping out. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Turn it
So
over to
Commissioner
Frank.
Doobie has to step out. So as Vice President, I get to preside over this last little bit of this commission meeting. So Mr. Edberg, would you give us your Wyoming 2020 hunting season presentation, please?
Absolutely. It's an honor to be here and kind of wrap up this meeting with what we've done the last several meetings, last several years in January, is provide you a nice pictorial overview of the 2020 hunting season. And so I think the presentation is pretty self-explanatory. I think if you watch this, you'll see a lot of common expressions, and that's going to be a lot of smiles and a lot of happy hunters. So with that, I'll ask that we turn on the presentation. You guys kick back, relax, and see what Wyoming hunters did and how successful they were, and how much they enjoyed our fall hunting season once again. So.
Been waiting all year long for November to come along. Freezing rain and the chance of snow, and that bitter wind starts to blow. And with the bucks in run and a hard cold front and the pressure falling down, it's all lining up like the perfect storm. I got the perfect stand for a northwest wind and the moon is on the rise. This is gonna be one of those hunts to remember. Sweet November, sweet November, sweet November, sweet November. Leaves are turning, there's a chill in the air. Campfires are burning, we're gathered round in chairs. 3 generations of hunting in our veins, talking about what might happen on opening day. Where the man's calling for southwest winds, gonna have to change my plans. Guess I won't be hunting the power line, I'm moving to the boat seat stand. Sighted in my rifle and she sure is shooting straight, but I'll meet up with the jitters, y'all. It's opening day. I've been working all summer and it's sure been hot. Tractor tore up, but I planted my plot. Deer trail running through there looks like a highway. I got my heart set on that drop time buck. There's plenty of room in the back of my truck. It's been a long year, but it's gonna be worth the wait. It's opening day. Came early, slung that coffee down. Headed to the stand with my little man, and he didn't make a sound. Sat there till 9:15 and old drop time didn't show. Saw a couple of squirrels, a fat raccoon, a possum and a doe. Then out of the blue came a cow horn spike, and my little boy started to shake. But he manned up and took his very first buck on opening day. I've been working all summer and it's sure been hot. The tractor tore up, but I planted my plot. Deer trail running through there looks like a highway. I got my heart set on that drop time buck. There's plenty of room in the back of my truck. It's been a long year, but it's gonna be worth the wait. It's opening day. It's gonna be worth the wait. It's finally opening day. You better get out your gun, clean it up good and get in the woods. It's opening day. Alarm clock ringing, it's 4 a.m. Before the sun comes up, my day begins. Grab a thermos full of coffee, a gun, and I'm out the door. I've been waiting all summer for this time of year. Now I'm up in the stand, and I think I can hear a big old buck busting through the brush behind me. It's shotguns, camouflaging 4x4s, black powder smoke, gotta love the outdoors. Pull that arrow back and just let her sing. Yeah, 'cause it's all good, y'all. It's a hunting thing. Winter's come and gone, springtime's here. Got a Boone and Crockett buck on the wall from last year. Now I'm up in this holler getting down with my turkey call. We'll just call him up, hammerback, bring him on in. Got a picture to show my good friends and a story to pass down through to all of my kids. About shotguns, camouflaging 4x4s, black powder smoke, gotta love the outdoors. Pull that arrow back and just let her sing. Yeah, 'cause it's all good, y'all. It's a hunting thing. Shotguns, camouflaging 4x4s, black powder smoke, gotta love the outdoors. Pull that arrow back and just let her sing. Yeah, 'cause it's all good, y'all. It's a hunting thing. Yeah, 'cause it's all good, y'all. It's a hunting thing. A hunting thing.
I hope you all enjoyed that. And again, I think there's a lot of common themes there. And I want to say thanks to Parker Everhart and B. Nicholas and the Wildlife Division for putting that together. And then all the employees who took the time to take those pictures for us. And we'll look at presenting another one in 2021 that I think you'll see a lot of the same smiles and successful and happy hunters. So thank you.
Thank you. You know, those pictures show why we do what we do and why the amazing employees of the department do what they do. Any other comments by the commission? So one final call to the public. Megan, do we have anybody? Okay. Going once. Going twice. Sure, I need a name, I guess. Thank you, Megan. So, Mr. McKelwey, I hope I don't butcher your name, but can you hear us?
I am. Are you able to hear me?
We can, Mr. McKelwey, go ahead.
Oh, great, thank you. I have just a question regarding Agenda 5, Item 5 from yesterday. Deputy Director mentioned that BH Inc.'s bid on the new Cody Regional Office included 82% Wyoming subcontractors. And so we asked the architect if we could get a copy of the subcontractor list, and what we were instructed that had to come from the department. So I'm asking if you would be able to release a copy of the subcontractor list to the public.
Mr. McKelwey, John Kennedy is going to come up and address that, but I guess for my take, this is Pat Crank. Those documents, once the bids are accepted, would be public documents, and I think we could release those, but I don't know, John, what's your thought?
Mr. President, members of the commission, I think that's accurate. We'll check into it. We'll release whatever we can release. Do you have any thoughts on that? Yeah, okay, so should make a formal request. They can request that directly from me, and we'll provide whatever information we can provide.
Did you hear that, Mr. McKelwey?
I did. Thank you. Is that would an
go
email?
Ahead. Go ahead and send a letter or an email to John Kennedy, and he'll research it and take care of you. So.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Commissioner.
Right. Thank you. Any other public comments, Megan? Okay, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Rael.
Second.
Second by Richard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for the public, and thank you for all the department support for this meeting. Been a great deal. Thank you.
Thank you
We're
again,
adjourned.
everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it. And on behalf of myself, that kind of an emotional day yesterday. I'd like to thank my wife, everybody. God bless you all.